Madam President, I rise today to tell the people of Minnesota why I will oppose the confirmation of Judge Amy Coney Barrett to be an Associate Justice of the United States Supreme Court. Our Constitution's most fundamental charge is to render equal justice under the law. This promise is so central to our justice system that those words are inscribed above the entrance to the United States Supreme Court. The late Justice Ruth Bader Ginsburg devoted her life to advancing the principle of equality under the law, and I believe all nominees to our nation's highest court must share that dedication. Unfortunately, Judge Barrett does not meet this standard. Judge Barrett was nominated to fulfill President Trump's promise to appoint Supreme Court justices who would do two things, which I believe are antithetical to providing equal justice under the law: dismantling the Affordable Care Act and overturning Roe v. Wade. So let's be clear about what's happening here. We know Judge Barrett was nominated because President Trump and Republicans believe that she will help them overturn the Affordable Care Act and take us back to the days when millions more Americans do not have health insurance, and insurance companies can deny coverage or charge exorbitant rates to people with pre-existing conditions like cancer or heart disease. And they could charge women more and seniors more, and they would be able to charge more to people with COVID as a pre-existing condition. And as we know, Judge Barrett was nominated because Donald Trump believes that she will uphold laws that treat women as less capable of making independent decisions about their health, their personal beliefs, and birth control than state legislatures. A person who can pass these two Republican litmus tests does not sound to me like someone who is committed to equal justice under the law. Now, many of my Democratic colleagues have talked about the terrible impact of striking down the Affordable Care Act on American families, and I share this commitment that they have, that we all have, to protecting health care as a human right. But as the only senator to have worked at Planned Parenthood, I want to take my time today to talk about what is at stake if the Supreme Court overturns or weakens Roe. When I worked at Planned Parenthood, I saw firsthand how comprehensive reproductive health care is essential for women to have the freedom and the opportunity to live the lives that they choose. I also saw how efforts to strip away these protections are an affront to the equal rights and dignity of women and their families. For all people, healthcare decisions are the most personal. It's your body, it's your life. And decisions about reproductive health and sexual health are even more personal and intensely private. And there is still stigma and discrimination around reproductive health, and especially abortion. And that makes it even more important that people have privacy and space and excellent care without judgment, which is what Planned Parenthood provides. I became aware during my time at Planned Parenthood how personal these decisions are for women and how the political debate around abortion is disconnected from the facts and the realities of women's lives. Here's an example. The battle over restricting access to abortion has nothing to do with the public health work to prevent unintended pregnancies and reduce the abortion rate. Indeed, the Guttmacher Institute has repeatedly found that restrictive state abortion laws are not causally associated with the decline in the abortion rate. In fact, fewer unintended pregnancies and lower teen pregnancy rates are correlated not with restrictive abortion laws, but with access to sexuality education and birth control, and also to a healthy economy. Here's another example. Most restrictive abortion laws seem to be aimed at a stereotype of an irresponsible woman who hasn't been careful and somehow got herself into a mess. Now, first of all, this is a sexist and disrespectful trope. And research shows that women from all walks of life seek abortion care. Over half are already mothers. Over 80% report using contraception. And over half report a religious affiliation. These women all have their own unique circumstances and needs and beliefs. What they have in common is that they deserve the dignity and respect to make their own judgments about what is best for them and their families and the course of their own lives. What I saw at Planned Parenthood was women, our patients, who were working really hard to make good decisions about their own health, and they wanted to take charge of their health and their lives. But this is really difficult when you can't afford basic health care like birth control, if you don't have good insurance or any insurance. And it's very hard if you have been shamed or threatened or harassed for seeking the care that you need. And it is even harder when the government is looking over your shoulder, telling you what you can and cannot do with your body and your life. Because the truth is, most laws restricting abortion are not about good health care. They are about substituting the judgment of government for the intensely personal medical and moral decisions that women, their doctors, and their families want and need to make for themselves. The truth is, these laws treat women as fundamentally unequal in their decision-making capacity, and they are an insult to women's individual dignity and freedom and bodily autonomy. I think this is why most Americans disagree with the Republicans' rush to roll back Roe. This anti-choice agenda is radically out of step with the American people. In 2019, Pew Research, which is a respected, nonpartisan polling organization, found that 61% of Americans say that abortion should be legal in all or most instances. Now, some of my Republican colleagues must know that they are out of step with the American people, which must be why some have suggested that it is, quote, fear-mongering to say that Roe might be overturned if Judge Barrett joins the Supreme Court. So, after promising over and over to only confirm anti-choice judges that would overturn Roe, they now try to claim that we can't possibly predict how a Justice Barrett would vote on this issue. Well, this is completely illogical and completely unbelievable, and I think the American people know better. Make no mistake, many conservative state legislatures have already passed laws specifically intended to create the opportunity for the Supreme Court to revisit and overturn Roe. And if Justice Barrett goes on the court and becomes the definitive vote to overturn or weaken Roe, 22 states are poised to immediately ban all or nearly all abortions. 16 others will immediately enact severe restrictions to dramatically reduce access. And more states are sure to follow. And if the Supreme Court overturns Roe, who is hurt most? Poor women, women living in rural communities, women without the means to travel to places where women's rights are respected. And this is the definition of unequal justice. This Supreme Court nominee will have a momentous effect on the lives and personal decisions of Minnesotans and Americans. There is so much at stake. And so I urge all Americans to make your voices heard and to hold your elected representatives accountable in Congress, in the State House, and in local governments. Your voices are powerful, but only if you use them. I will always stand up for all Americans to have equal justice and opportunity to live the lives that you choose, and that is why I oppose this nomination. And I urge my colleagues to join me in opposing the confirmation of Justice Barrett. Mr. President, I yield the floor.